Welcome back to Silver Tears Tarot, and welcome to what may be kind of an exciting moon reading. So we didn't talk about this very much, but we've talked about the Venus retrograde a lot, but we've actually got a Mercury retrograde coming up later in this month, which I bring up because we're talking astrology, and I don't usually talk a ton about it, which I think I've said now like 5 times in the last week, but it's still, if you look at the history of the channel, it doesn't usually come up quite as often. So today, though, we're talking about yesterday's full moon, which is the first of 2 moons this month. So we have one August 1st, and then we've got the blue moon, so that when you have 2 moons in the same month, it's the blue moon. We have 2 supermoons in August. The second one's going to be the blue moon. So this one's in Aquarius. Next one will be in Pisces. Meanwhile, we're going to have that Leo new moon kind of in the middle. And in between that Leo new moon and the Pisces full moon at the end of the month, that's where the Mercury retrograde is going to come in. Meanwhile, Venus retrograde goes all the way until early September. So right now we're at that full moon in Aquarius. It's a super moon, and the energy that comes from it is you're just going to be you. Like that's, and we've been seeing it come out in the readings, but we're going to look at it a little bit more deeply here. And so, of course, it is a general reading, but it's a general reading for this collective. So if it's you, you may find yourself wanting to get in and look at it a little bit more deeply, maybe even subscribe. But let's take a quick look at what's happening with this with this full moon that we had yesterday here in Aquarius. And that we've been seeing kind of the energy really around you has been super intense. And in fact, in yesterday's August reading, you were like the only thing the cards wanted to talk about. Okay, so that energy, the main energy, we've got the Hanged Man, new things coming to you. You're having realizations that are helping you to be you. But with the Innocence of Cups, you're not necessarily telling everybody, or it's not you're not telling everybody, it's more like you're not explaining yourself. And it's kind of neat because it's got that feeling to it like you don't really need to. You don't really have to explain yourself. Is that the Moon card? It is. We have the Moon card that has popped out in our full moon reading and looks like a giant super moon here for them. So the super moon is actually closer and it seems brighter, and it feels more present sometimes. There's going to be a lot of an impact from things that sit shrouded in mystery, but that kind of get illuminated for a little bit. But they get illuminated by moonlight, which isn't as bright as it's reflected sunlight. So you don't quite get that same impact as you would from the sun, and you can't see quite as well. So even when things are illuminated by the moon, it doesn't necessarily give us a good view. And that's kind of what's going to happen here. I'm not convinced that's a problem for you here, though. With that Hanged Man energy, there's a feeling of you just kind of being able to turn over that new leaf anyway. And it really does feel like that. You've got something that hasn't been completed that you're gonna be looking to bring to fruition. That's really what it feels like. You're going to be looking to bring something to fruition in this time, and you're going to have the wherewithal and the energy to do it. Here with the Ace of Swords, though, it is, you're not just guided by your desire to do something, or your willingness is not the only factor. There's a truth to it. There's a righteousness to it almost, that wants to move you in the direction of completion, something that needs to be completed. And it's like a drive to feel like you need to complete something during this moon energy. Very intense energy, but not bad. It's like it's goading you into success, that sort of feeling. There's a decisiveness about you that happens during this moon that is a little bit more, it's not decisive in a harsh way. It's more decisive in a, this makes sense, we're just going to go that direction. It's still a gentle feel to it, but it's quite decisive, and you don't, it's got a definitely can't mess with it sort of vibe. But why would you? There's nothing there that really creates something you'd want to resist against. It feels like it feels like you're making decisions for everyone's best interests, and people will treat you that way. But there's still something, and I saw it reflected here in this Innocence of Cups, there's still something here about you wanting to kind of keep things to yourself and maybe hold off on jumping into something that you've got something that is you're wanting to wrap up and complete, but you've also got something that you're looking at jumping into that's new, and you're not so sure about it, or you're not so sure about the timing, because it seems like you're doing pretty well as far as being sure of yourself. Oh, you're not sure you want to do it. You're not sure that you want to do it. So there's something that's going to be coming to you during this energy that and we've seen this. We've seen this in the August readings. The August readings don't place where in August that energy is going to happen. But what I'm seeing is that it's also somewhat relevant to today's energy, and that would be yesterday's as well. So perhaps unsurprisingly, it came out yesterday also. But we were looking at the full month of August. So there's a little bit of a sense of being thrown off your game. Don't think it matters. And then with the Lovers card, okay, so I have to be careful about the way I say this one, because it feels like something is not right for partnership, but it's not that. It's about timing. It's something you choose not to respond to at a certain time, or it's something that you make a different decision about and want it to be presented a different way. Not so much a hard no or a there's no opportunity here. It's more of a hold on, the timing isn't right. There's something here, and I think that's why you're not wanting to jump in to what this is over here. All right. Well, good to know. So there's a little bit of a hesitancy in the energy, but not really in your confidence. It's hesitancy to move into something because you legitimately aren't sure if you want to move into it. And you do get a little bit more light shown on it there, but that doesn't necessarily give you all of what you need to see. So what else needs to come out around this full moon? What else do we need to know about the full moon? Okay. Be looking for the real truth of the matter. There's something here with this Ace of Swords in reverse that is, we saw something like this yesterday where it's not a new truth, and it's not one that you are unaware of, but it's something that you're not necessarily focused on. And so what is that to you, and what position does it play for you right now? Because it doesn't feel like it's something that you have to jump on and necessarily address, but let's see what comes out. I'm curious to understand how you should be interacting with this truth. And it's in there. It's in your view. You're aware of it. You just haven't decided to prioritize it. Oh, there's something here that you're looking to exert more control over. And so this is it's a convenient truth not to have to think about. And hang on just one second. Sorry, I had to close a door again real quick. So there's something about this truth that is not so much that you can't get to it, but that it is an inconvenient truth. An inconvenient truth for you. And so you're looking to kind of push it to the side, but you're almost trying not to call attention to that to yourself. Interesting. Yeah, because there's energy that isn't wanting to move forward, but it feels like it kind of needs to. Here's that piece that needs to change again. Oh my goodness, you guys. Are we seeing this come out again? We are seeing this come out again. Okay. Here's what we've got so far. We've got a truth that needs to be recognized. It's not in a rush, but it's very much a nagging truth. And I've used that term in yesterday's, I might have had a little bit of a fit about it in yesterday's extended reading because we keep seeing this message come up so much. And it's around this thing that needs to change for you, that when it does change, it's going to allow something beautiful to come out. And it's going to be so much more possibility. But unfortunately, it's something that you are able to push down and not make a change, and it's working against you. And it's not even necessarily just fear, but it is you almost stagnating your own energy to stay in this place of not changing. So look for it, everybody. I'm sorry if that sounds like something that you don't want to hear, because I don't want to hear it, and it just keeps coming out. But there is something about it that kind of keeps you quiet, and this is a concept that we saw also yesterday. There's a bit of a heartbreak that is keeping you in this. So it's not just this weird refusal for you to do something. There's actually something that you have to unlock here. But when you unlock that, it's going to unlock a lot of other potential for you. So a lot of really great things can happen there. In the meantime, though, it's kind of stymieing your ability to almost to communicate on certain levels. It's keeping you quiet about something, or keeping you private about something in a way that you might not ordinarily be. But then you've got this Three of Swords, and what that is, there is some pain that you are going to run through as you're fixing this. That pain that's keeping you in this place that you may not even realize that's what's happening. Oh, we want that. This pain you're going to feel on your way out of it. However, it's not necessarily as significant as it looks. It's going to be something that when you get to the other side of it, you say, oh, I wish I had done this way sooner, because it's bringing you closer to what you want. It's bringing you closer to your own happiness and your own wish fulfillment. And it's a huge, huge step in that direction. All right, I guess we have to think about it. This is, in a minute, we're going to ask about where you need to be focused. And I feel like I don't know if it's directly on this. So with the Queen of Wands here, it's like you pick up speed once you start to make progress after moving, and after making this move in the right direction. You start to pick up speed and make progress, and things start to light up for you. And that's where you start to realize how much has truly changed. And change is the name of the game with this. This is really something that's going to heal you. It's going to change you. And it's going to create some stability for you and some peace. This is peace. It's an honorable mention. Doesn't need to be part of the reading, but that's you not feeling certain anxieties that you kind of were wondering where those anxieties came from. They're coming from this and the fact that this is still going on. And so it's just such a weird indirect link that you wouldn't necessarily think of it, but it does put into play a lot of change for you. This is like a commercial for letting this Tower fall and letting this Death card go in the upright, letting this thing end. There's so much healing that comes from this, and so much stability that comes for you as a result of this, that I really am pretty inspired. So like I said, and I've only really said it about this, I think, but I am part of this collective, and one of the things that's really important to me is seeing some of the messages that come out and how everyone responds to them, because every once in a while, I'm on a different place on the timeline too. So I can look back and say, I felt that. I remember what that was like, and be able to have my heart go out to you. And in other places, I'm like right there. And so here I am with you on this one. I don't love this feeling, but and so if you're not loving it, I'm right here with you, and I commiserate with you. However, I'm inspired by the way this feels, and I would tell you I'm just going to jump in and try and accomplish it, even though I think I said that last week. So we will stay connected on how that goes. Let's go ahead and take a look at what you should be focusing on. This is where you ought to be focusing, given what we have out here on the table, and with the energy that's coming in with this moon. So this moon is pushing you towards authenticity, but it's pushing you also towards a truth within yourself that is right now you're looking to avoid it. So there is something that we see, this Fool card over here. We see that there's something that's not ready. Some of you are in soulmate situations where your soulmate has become a little bit more active with you lately and has reached out, and maybe this isn't the right time to be successful. That's what that's saying for some of you. For some of you, that's not true. This might be a perfectly good time to be successful, but there is something that you're reluctant to jump into, which we see over here. You see something that you're wanting to wrap up over here, but something that you would not necessarily want to jump into. Is it a new soulmate? Is it something with your old soulmate? It's something that is specific to you. You don't necessarily want to jump into it. And here you're getting the, yeah, definitely you're going to want to evaluate this. sort of vibe. The Fool says, in reverse, says you don't just jump in without evaluating, without thinking. Do not move forward. Oh, this is about as prescriptive as we've ever seen. This is going to create a situation of greater fear. It is not something that is going to help you. It is going to create greater fear. The only way that it would help you is to force you to learn a lesson that you've already seen once or twice, but to force you to learn it under more fearful circumstances. So if you're thinking about jumping into something that looks like it's new and gives you the willies, you may really want to stay away from it, because it looks like and you're going to have more than one opportunity to jump into. So I understand that this is not going to be everything that comes to you. Oh gosh, shy away. No, there's definitely going to be some things where you're going to want to evaluate and decide if that's where you want to go. This is not it. So this is somebody coming up to you and saying, hey, do you want to go insert bad idea here? And you saying, I'm not sure if I want to do that. You kind of already know. Like, you already kind of know that this makes you uncomfortable. You've got some resistance to it. You're getting, do not do it. This is going to create additional fears for you. It's also going to create anxiety and consternation. This is, again, about as prescriptive as I ever really see the tarot get. You will have new defenses if you go into this, whatever this is. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I imagine you would also still have a fair amount of growth from it, but it doesn't sound like it is ultimately going to be a good direction for you to go or beneficial. So that's interesting. That's interesting. We don't usually get such a, don't go that way. Okay, so there's something about this that's going to trigger your fears that keep you, the part of you that keeps yourself out in the cold. That's essentially what's going to trigger, because I'm not even going to talk about the fears that are coming up here, because it's not just the big three. It's more fears, more generalized fears. And there's a tendency to keep yourself in that. This situation would keep you mired in that. It's like, I'm going to make this just a completely outlandish example, because I don't really think that this is going to be most of you. In fact, I'm certain it's not most of you. But let's say that the change that you need to make and this are related, because I could see a little bit of connection between these energies. And it feels like maybe you're trying to get off of a really scary drug that doesn't want to let go of you. Okay. And you've tried walking away. You've tried all kinds of different things, and you're having a hard time with it, but you finally get this thing in the air and you're walking away. Then your drug dealer comes back and says, hey, I've got a great deal. This is where you might feel some resistance, and you might know, hey, I already know I kind of don't want to do this, but I kind of want to do it. You know, I mean, there's maybe some reason why you would have to evaluate it. And this is saying hard no, absolutely going to hurt you, going to create additional issues, going to play on the part of you that doesn't know how to solve your problems, going to create new resistance, new walls for you. This is a very stay away from it sort of situation. This is not a small thing. And you'll know when it comes to you that it's something that you need to kind of shy away from. Or I don't even want to say shy, just stay away from it. The Queen of Pentacles here, it's going to impact your self-worth just to think about it. It's okay. You're going to bounce back, assuming you don't go forward with it. It will impact your household. If it is something that, so let's say it's those crazy drugs, and you have done something where you've managed to keep your household intact, this is where you lose it. I couldn't be more serious. This energy couldn't be more serious. It's, like I said, it's prescriptive as I've ever seen the tarot get. But I guess when you open yourself up to just tell me what you need to tell me, you are going to hear some things. So we've got the King of Wands. The King of Wands here says this is not necessarily something for you to just Nancy Reagan, like just say no about. And I'm staying on the drug thing because I think it's such a great example. And also because I don't think that's what's happening with the vast majority of you. But the thing is, it kind of is. So it has that same sort of impact within your brain as a drug might have. You know, a drug comes in and bonds to sites within the cells within your brain, and you feel a certain way because it creates a neurotransmitter storm, or it creates certain feelings. This is something that creates that in you. even if it's not an external drug that you take. It is creating that sort of experience within you, which is creating a challenge. But this is something that dramatically, it throws you off your game, and you're encouraged. This is like a huge red flag waving kind of warning over here. Don't do the thing. You'll know it when you see it. Wow, glad I'm doing this reading. I feel like this is why I'm here. This is the sort of thing that, I mean, all of it is why I'm here, but every once in a while we get something that says, hey, really, there's a serious warning over here. Do not come this direction. Let's get you a card for kind of the big picture from the Moonology Oracle. I like to use this one when we do full moon and new moon readings. So conclusions are within reach. Full moon eclipse. Conclusions are within reach. This is going to be, it feels pretty global. So it's about a variety of things. I also feel like it's about this thing where you're working to make a change that's going to make you feel more whole. There is something here that you're looking to complete, and you're actively looking for completion on this. This is within reach as well. There is, you have this energy of like you're on a, if I were to sum up this whole reading, you're on a beautiful tightrope. Like you've got this great balance, and there's something over here that wants to throw you off. And there's something over here that you've maintained the balance regarding the tightrope, even with this. But if you get rid of it, you're going to just blossom even more. And yet there's something else over here wanting to kind of bring you down. And you have the ability, even if it's not super simple, to walk away. And conclusions are within reach. You can do all of it, which I have felt from the very beginning. Bit of an intense full moon reading there, although I guess I'm not really surprised about it. We're going to jump back into the soulmate series again tomorrow, so I look forward to seeing you there, and I can't wait to see what happens with all of this energy that's coming here in August. Look forward to seeing you then.